Mom texted, "You don't need a celebration for every little thing," while I sat alone with a cake I bought for myself. 2 hours later, my aunt posted, "Family dinner for the real success. My niece's new car." It was my sister's. I blew out the candle, opened my laptop, and canceled the $2,300 auto payment I'd been paying for her. By morning, Mom messaged, "Why is her car gone?" Mom's voice cut through the noise of the living room. "You think you're the only one who struggles, Ethan? You always act like we owe you something." I just stood there, hands trembling, eyes fixed on the half-eaten cake I'd brought home for my own birthday. No one had shown up. Not Mom, not Dad, not my sister. Just me, a flickering candle, and silence that hummed louder than her words. Dad slammed his beer down. "You've got to stop being dramatic. Your sister's doing real things, building her life. You're just floating." I felt my throat tighten. I didn't say anything. I never did. Then my sister, Hannah, walked in, keys jingling. "Oh my God, Mom, did you see Aunt Jen's post? The one with my car? It's getting so many likes." Mom smiled proudly. "You deserve it, sweetheart." And right then, Hannah looked at me with that small smirk she'd had since childhood, the kind that said, "You'll never be enough." I whispered, "That car isn't yours anymore." The room went silent. My name's Ethan. I'm 27. For most of my life, I've been the one who fixed things quietly, the one who signed papers, sent payments, picked up the messes no one else would, the one they called responsible. I work in IT, stable job, quiet apartment, predictable routine, nothing special. But behind that routine was a list of payments I made each month: car insurance, Mom's phone, Dad's truck loan, Hannah's auto payment. They said it was temporary. 3 years later, it still wasn't. They always said Hannah needed a head start. She was finding herself. I guess I was the one funding her search. And even now, while Mom called me ungrateful, the $2,300 I paid for Hannah's car was still being taken out of my account. Until tonight, Dad leaned back, voice sharp. "What did you mean, Ethan?" I met his eyes for the first time that night. "Check the driveway." Hannah blinked. "What did you do?" "I just stopped paying for what wasn't mine." She shot up. "That's my car." I smiled faintly. "No, Hannah, it was my car. You just drove it." Mom gasped like I'd committed a crime. "You can't just... Ethan, that's family property." I laughed quietly. "Since when do you call things I pay for family property?" That's when I saw it. The flicker of guilt behind Dad's expression. He looked at Mom for a second too long. Something unspoken passed between them, and I realized there was more they weren't saying. It wasn't just about money, it never was. The next morning I came by to drop off the house keys I'd been holding since college. Mom opened the door but didn't invite me in. "Your father doesn't want to talk to you right now," she said, arms crossed. "I didn't come to talk." "Then what do you want?" "Answers," I said simply. "About the fund Grandpa left." Her eyes widened. "What are you talking about?" I pulled a folded letter from my pocket, Grandpa's last will. I'd found a scanned copy months ago while fixing their old laptop. It mentioned an education trust for me, one that somehow disappeared the same year Hannah started her business. I had never confronted them. Until now, Mom's voice cracked. "Ethan, you don't understand." "No," I interrupted. "I think I finally do." Dad came to the doorway, his tone defensive. "That money helped this family. We had bills. Hannah needed..." "Hannah needed?" I repeated. "You mean I didn't?" He stepped closer. "Don't start twisting things." "I don't have to twist anything. I just read what's on paper." Hannah appeared from behind him, arms crossed. "You always make everything about you. Grandpa loved all of us." "Then why did he only mention me?" I asked quietly. Her silence was the answer. Dad's voice thundered again. "We did what we had to. You were too young to understand." I laughed bitterly. "Too young to understand that my own family stole from me?" Mom shouted, "Watch your tone!" But my tone didn't change. It never needed to. I gave up my degree to help you. I paid your bills when Dad's credit tanked. I worked double shifts when Hannah crashed her car. And still, I was the selfish one. No one said a word. Then I saw tears in Mom's eyes. But they weren't guilt. They were fear. I left the house without slamming the door this time. Instead, I went back to my apartment, sat on the floor, and opened my laptop. I checked every auto payment I'd ever set up. Every one of them, gone. For the first time in years, my accounts were mine again. 2 days later, Dad showed up at my place. No knocking, just walked in like he still owned me. You embarrassed your mother. Your sister can't go anywhere now because the bank repossessed the car. You think you're proud of that? I stood by the counter, quiet. He stepped closer. You always wanted to make us look bad. That's what this is about, huh? I looked at him and said, No, this is about the truth. He laughed dryly. You sound like your mother. That's when I knew. He didn't mean it as a comparison. He meant it as a confession. Later that night, I dug deeper into the old files I'd found on their laptop. Bank transfers, shared accounts. That's when I saw it. Mom's name and another man's. My grandfather's trust fund wasn't missing. It had been transferred to a joint account belonging to Mom and a man named Paul Jennings. And the note said, for Hannah's startup, private. I didn't know who Paul was, but the next file told me everything. It was a scanned birth certificate. Hannah's father, Paul Jennings, not my dad. Everything went numb. The favoritism, the excuses, the way Dad treated me like a stranger. It all made sense. Hannah wasn't his daughter, and Mom had spent my inheritance covering up her secret. When I confronted her, she fell apart. I did it to protect us, Ethan. You wouldn't understand. You protected yourself, I said. You let me pay for everyone's lies. She tried to grab my hand. Please, don't destroy the family. I pulled away. There was never a family, Mom, just a deal I didn't know I signed. That night, I sent the scanned files anonymously to Aunt Jen, the one who posted about Hannah's success. By morning, the entire family knew. Hannah showed up at my door crying, saying, You ruined me. I looked at her and whispered, I just stopped being your wallet. The house fell silent after that week. No calls, no texts, just the kind of emptiness that follows truth. For the first time, it felt like peace. Weeks later, I got an email. Mom asking for just one more favor. Their electricity was due. I replied with one line. Maybe Hannah can post about that too. I didn't walk away out of hate. I walked away because I finally understood that love without respect is just guilt in disguise. And in that silence, I found myself again. If I'm honest, I still miss the idea of them. The family I thought I had. But now, when I light a candle, it's not for a birthday they forgot. It's for the version of me that kept forgiving what was never sorry. And for the first time, I exhaled. Not out of anger, but freedom, because they can't take what they never valued. If you were in my place, would you forgive, or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments, your voice matters here. And if Ethan's story hit something inside you, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories that heal, and share this with someone who's ever carried family pain in silence. Because sometimes, silence is where the loudest truths begin.